on March 16th. For more, I am being joined now by Davey from Loaded Mag, NUFC. Hi, Pete. Still celebrating?
Just a little bit, just a little bit. It's been a fantastic 24 hours. A little bit of nerves, full of excitement, and then to watch that performance for 90, 93, 94 minutes was just absolutely outstanding and beyond anything any Newcastle fan would have expected going into that game last night.
Now, some Newcastle supporters had already booked their hotels and travel before a ball was kicked last night. Are you one of them?
I'm not going to lie, I am one, yes. I was down there that weekend, I'd already pre-planned, so me and a few friends are going to be going down there, and of course we'll be soaking up the atmosphere with the rest of the fan base, so really looking forward to it. And look, it's just amazing feeling to be back in another cup final. 2 out of 3 years, Eddie Howe has done a superb job at Newcastle United, that's for sure.
It was another inspiring display from talisman Alexander Isak last night. He really ran Arsenal ragged, didn't he?
He's unplayable at the moment. That's the word I keep using. He is absolutely unplayable. And the way he dismantled arguably the best centre-back pairing in Europe, some would argue, with ease at times, it just shows how special he is. He is one of the best in Europe. We are absolutely delighted to have him. And look, in my opinion, there's many more years ahead with Alexander Isak wearing the black and white stripes of Newcastle United, that's for sure. He's 25 years old, he can only get better, and that's the scary thing about what we're seeing at the moment from our Swedish international.
You're saying there, Pete, many more years in the black and white for Alexander Isak, but earlier Paul Mercer said he's destined for Arsenal. That's what he believes anyway. Does talk like that irritate you?
Has it irritated me and the fan base? Of course. It's understandably, I think it would irritate us because he's our talisman, he's our star player, and you don't want to lose any one of those players. But I think sometimes there can be an argument of a little bit of disrespect. Newcastle United are fighting for Champions League football right now. We have aspirations to be up there challenging on a regular basis, and in order for us to do that, we need to keep our best players. It's as simple as that. Eddie Howe's spoken about it on numerous occasions, about keeping his best players and building, and that's what we want as a fan base. We want to build with our best players at the club, and we certainly don't want to be losing Alexander Isak. And with 3 years left on his contract come this summer, for me, I think Newcastle United will be in the driving seat. So at this moment in time, I'm not worried at all. I think he's fully focused on playing for Newcastle United, and as a fan, that's all I can ask for.
You mentioned best players a couple of times there. Anthony Gordon and Jacob Murphy, of course, outstanding last night as well, and they'll get credit, rightly so. But how impressed were you with the team's performance overall?
It was a pleasure to watch. With losing Joe Linton before the game, who is such an important player to us, particularly in that midfield three. Eddie Howe's openly spoke about the fact he had to rejig things and change things around to suit the style and the way we wanted to attack Arsenal. And, you know, big props to Eddie Howe for making that happen, first and foremost. But the players gave everything to the cause. They gave every ounce of sweat to ensure that Newcastle United were not only going to go through to the final, but to win the match that night. Starting from the back three, led by Sven Botman in the middle, I thought was absolutely sensational. Considering he's been out for 10 months, he really doesn't look like it at all. Going into the midfield, Sandro Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes, I've said many a time, they've got like a sync-like mentality with each other. They just know each other's game inside out. And when you've got the pace and explosiveness of the likes of Murphy and Gordon, as you mentioned, and then Isak with that little bit of stardust, they all came out and they all shone last night. It was a pleasure. But big props as well for Kieran Trippier coming back into the team, led by example, used his experience to really navigate the team forward. It was just, I keep saying it, it's a pleasure to watch them play. And I'm not going to lie, after we watched the game last night, I did re-watch it again because it was such a great game for a Newcastle fan, that's for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned about the tactics already. Eddie Howe, of course, will receive, and rightly rightly so. Legendary status should Newcastle go on and win that final. But is he underrated as a manager, do you think?
I do, yeah, I do. I think it's an easy narrative because he's an English manager fighting amongst foreign managers at the top of the Premier League. It's easy to say, you know, he's not quite at that level, but he's proven, even this season, he's proven against Man City at home, against Arsenal in previous games, against Liverpool, you know, against these top teams, Aston Villa as well, we put in there. He's proven he can mix it with the best, and not just mix it in terms of results, but tactically as well. And it's not the first time he's outsmarted Mikel Arteta, and you know he has that knack and that ability to put a formation together, a style, an action plan, and ensure that the players execute it, and they certainly did last night. So definitely underrated. He's proven himself now. We've been fighting near the top table now for the last 3 years, and that's where he wants to stay, and that's where the club wants to be.
Now, Pete, you've already told us you've secured your spot for the final. You've got your hotel and everything booked already to come to Wembley. The question is, do you want to be facing Liverpool or Tottenham in that final at Wembley?
Well, look, first of all, both teams are capable of causing us problems on the day, but I'm not going to think about that. I'm thinking about what Newcastle United can do, and we have the capabilities of beating either team. We play like we did last night. We can compete with any team in this league. If I had a preference, I would slightly lean towards Tottenham, just because we've had the upper hand on Tottenham twice this season. It would just make sense as a fan to say, yeah, we could make it